Okay, so there's a, a fourth way of finding slope from points, but let's just start off here with a little review from the previous one. This is no different than what we're doing. Start with the before, starting with the point on the left. I have to go up 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3. So this slope is just 4/3. Start with the point on the left, down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 1, 2, 3. So that was down 6 over 3, which is just -2. Remember, there's an invisible 1 underneath that, so it's really like down 2 over 1 is what we're doing. 1, 2, 3, down over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So -3/5. Okay, here we're going to go up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 over 2. 6 over 2, that's a slope of 3 over 1, but we would just write 3. Down 1 over 1, 2, 3, 4. So we went down, so that's -1 over 4. Remember, horizontal line, slope is 0 because you don't go up or down. That would be 0 over 2, which is just 0. Now, rather than doing, I don't really have any room down here, but the next thing we're going to talk about is slope formula. So, we showed from doing it from a graph, but creating a graph is sometimes very cumbersome. It takes time, and if the number's really big, a graph is not friendly to do it with. For example, if I asked you to find the slope of the line containing these 2 points, let's say if I did 18, 10, and 22, 4. Now, could you graph these and then count it out? Of course you could, but it would take too much time. So there is actually a slope formula. And you've probably seen this before. Y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1. So this is, so this, what this is just like means the second y, that's the first y. This is the second x, that's the first x. So this would be like x sub 1, this would be x sub 2. This would be y sub 1, this would be y sub 2. So all we got to do is subtract. Now it's easy when the numbers are positive. So, y sub 2, that would be the 4. 4 minus y sub 1, which is 10, over what? 22 minus 18. So 4 minus 10 is -6. That's going to be 4. Don't forget to reduce your fraction. The slope of this is -3 over 2. Now, it actually doesn't matter which direction you subtract these in, as long as you're consistent. So I did this minus this over this minus that. If I had done 10 minus 4 on the top, that'd be fine, as long as I do 18 minus 22 on the bottom. You'll get the same thing, but you got to make sure that the change in y is on the top. All right, that's critical. Most of this stuff is just being careful. Now watch, if you have negative numbers, I'm going to do just a couple more. -2, 6, and then we'll do -3, -8. So you just got to be careful with the negative action. So -8 minus 6, y sub 2 minus y sub 1, over -3. Now remember, it's minus a -2, but minus, because the formula says minus. So if you subtract a negative, that becomes plus a positive. So this becomes -14 over -1. Those negatives cancel, and our slope is just 14. So you have to be careful with your arithmetic here when you are subtracting these negative values. Let me just show you one more. 5, 3 over, I'm sorry, not over, but the other point would be -8, 3. So my slope, 3 minus 3, I could stop right there. Well, I could stop even earlier. Over negative 8 minus 5. The top is 0, you see? Bottom's negative 30. Who cares what the bottom is? When the top is 0, your slope is just 0. If the bottom was 0, your slope would be your slope would be undefined. You don't have to do any more work. And if you're really good, if you're sharp, you're paying attention to these. See, notice how this y value here, 3, is the same as this y value here? Because they're both the same, that means these points are both at the same height. These points are both at the same height, and that means that this would be a horizontal line. Okay, this line would be horizontal. That means that the slope is 0, and the opposite is true if the x's were the same. Then you'd get a vertical line, which would be a undefined slope.